Yo, 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 what is up? It's your boy Tenzin, 1/3 of the SOS podcast. Had a good day off last week. Although we still blessed y'all with an episode. It was just pre-recorded. But yeah, man, it felt good being to just come home and be like, damn, I can just kick my feet up and catch up on some shows, rehearse some raps, try to write some new ones. It's been difficult trying to come up with some new ones. It's like I always go through that thing where it's like, oh no, is my brain all tapped out? What the fuck? But then it's just like, oh yeah, I end up writing some good shit. So it looks like I'll be running this solo tonight. I don't think B is gonna make it. He's been going through it health wise. So just keep B in your thoughts. But yeah, man, a lot of things going down in my personal life. And when I say a lot of things, it's just more so just just new opportunities coming up, and it's like that dilemma. So, as an independent artist, you know, I have to bankroll most of my own stuff. And, shout out to my mother. I guess she's seeing how serious I'm taking this music stuff, and she actually funded my first round of business cards and stickers. So shout out to her for that one. I will be passing them out. Uh, Actually, well, I already handed some stickers out to, you know, some of my colleagues who are in the know that I rap. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a little exclusive thing right there. But also, you know, so I've always been like where I'm at is cool, but I always been thinking about, promoting at the job, or maybe even, trying to find something new, just cuz I've been at the same position for like 3 years, give or take. And it's just starting the monotony starting to get to me. Like, the weekends feel shorter and shorter, which I think that just comes with getting older. But yeah, I'm just starting to get a little tired of it. Funny thing is, I paid to get my resume spruced up, but on the two promotions that I signed up for, I hadn't even used it yet, and that was like $500. But I don't know. I guess only because it was just like, okay, well, but it was like a really good resume. They did their thing. It's just I don't know. I guess I just didn't think that my current employer deserved that fancy smancy of a resume. And also, it's weird, which I kind of understand. Like, from a budget perspective, is like, a lot of stuff, like a lot of the titles are limited. A lot of the positions are limited. But to be honest with you, like, the first two titles at my current place of employment, like, they should be automatic. You know, you should start off at that first point, and HR should be able to look at it, be like, you know what, hey, you've been here for like, a year, and you didn't fuck up. All right, here's a promotion. And then, after that is when you should do the interviewing. But I have to say, this is probably like the first, job I had where to get promoted, you have to interview for it. And I'm just like, why? Y'all know me. Like, y'all seen me working. You know what I'm saying? And it is just weird. It's like, damn, so we just gotta keep interviewing just to work in a different part of the job that we currently have. Which, like I said, on one hand, I get it because these positions are limited, and yeah, you just can't give it to any and everybody. But also, too, is just what if you run into that person who knows how to sell themselves, but they get on the job and they can't do it, whereas the person who has the talent, but they just do bad in interviews, and you just gonna keep them at their same position forever? And you know, usually, and I wonder if it's like just a formality thing, because there was some positions, there were some of my colleagues, like, honestly, it should have been, their promotion should have been automatic, but it is what it is. But the reason why that's also a dilemma is because, the more you promote at a job, the more that job demands of you. And yeah, and you don't want that demand to seep it. Well, I don't want that demand to seep into my creative endeavors, because yeah, like, this rap stuff is kind of taking off now. Like, at least like in a professional manner, I'm getting the hang of, well, trying to get the hang of selling it. Like, you know, obviously I can always improve on the technological side, on the technical side, the skills side. Yeah, that can always be improved. But now that I know I'm good at it, I have to now figure out how to sell it. So, as I said, thanks to my mother, I got business cards and stickers. I'm also gonna have like a shirt, just for me, a Tenzin shirt that I'll wear at my next performance, and also at the 770 day on September 12th. Be there or be square. I'll have to get up with the organizer on that just to see how he wants it promoted. But yeah, September 12th, baby, rain, sweet, rain, sleet, snow, whatever, it's going down. That's what the organizer said, and I'll be hosting it. So yeah, and that's just my thing. It's just like, it's like, yeah, you know, you you don't want to promote and have your work life take over your creative life, but at the same time, you don't want to stay in the same position and still make the same money, because you need a raise, right? Definitely need a raise. And also too, I worry, especially the job I'm in, is like, like, the higher up you go, like, I think the more your social media presence will definitely matter. Now, I will say this current employer, they don't do too much, you know, what's the word? What's that word? Whatever. They don't do too much like digging around in your social media presence. I mean, it's just, like, as long as you're not on social media, like, in your work, swag, saying like racist, bigoted stuff, or just being caught on video doing something stupid, like, you know what I mean? Then for the most part, you should be good. They're very good at, like, not, snooping in on your page, especially if it's like separate. And I do my best to keep stuff separate. Like, there are some people that I would like see on Facebook who are like my colleagues, and yeah, they just have it plastered like such and such at such and such, works for this and this locate. I'm like, God damn, folk, like, give your ops a challenge at least. Like, I mean, but me personally, like, I always wanted to keep my social media way separate from my professional life, just because I rap, and I rap about things, like, mostly substance abuse. But yeah, it's just, I try to keep that separate, because the person I work for is a very public person. So uh that's also a factor. Like, when you're working for somebody that's a public figure, it's like, okay, you really gotta, like, be on your P's and Q's and know how to act, because yeah, because if you're fucking up, then that's gonna look bad on your boss, right? So, like, if you're like a regular person, right? Let's say you work for like Coca-Cola, like, yeah, like, if your boss over at Coca-Cola finds out that you're acting an asshole, or maybe you're not acting an asshole. Like maybe they discover your hobby and it turns out that your hobby is not, suitable for your employer's liking. Yeah, they can totally get rid of you. So that's the conundrum I've been in. I mean, I applied for two positions. That will be, well, technically one of them would be a linear move. However, if I was to get that position because of what it is, I may get a 10% raise. But the other one is definitely would be a huge like pay increase if I can get that one. But again, it just depends on how much of that demand I'll be able to handle, which, I'm pretty confident. I mean, there were there were some difficult parts of my job that I was able to navigate and learn. And then there was other difficult sections of the job that I just could not get the hang of. But for the most part, I was always able to just learn new things, pick it up, and then, be able to apply it. I just need to put it in practice. And, and no shade on any of my colleagues, but I mean, I've seen some pretty incompetent people like, get a very high position. But hey, fingers crossed, keep me in your thoughts. Like I said, hopefully if I do get either promotion I apply for, hopefully it does not negatively affect, you know, my passion. All right. So that was a long 11-minute rant about, my current situation. But anywho, man, these wildfires in the West Coast, I believe it was like last year, California was going through it. But now Washington is. Hold on. Washington State wildfires. Because, yes, I remember watching a news segment yesterday, and yeah, it's crazy. It's a record breaking wildfire. Over 700,000 acres of land just burned this year. 871 homes destroyed. Okay, that's fucking major. And and the thing is like wildfires over in the West Coast is like usually, that's like a seasonal thing, but it's usually they're usually able to kind of like control that. But I don't know, man. Like last year and now this year, it's getting quite serious. Okay. What it says, like, you know, in o- Okanogan County, okay, about roughly 58,000 acres was burned since July 17th. 62% of it was contained. But man, like 250 active duty U.S. soldiers had to be deployed, to assist civilian crews, um, patrolling fire lines and controlling the fire. Hold on. I got a text from little brother. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, he was just letting me know he just wasn't feeling up to it. But anywho, yeah. So I was wondering, like, we got to call the spade a spade. This climate change is getting ridiculous. You know, um, and let's see, it's like, the governor had to issue an emergency proclamation for these fires and everything. And it's just, man, I just can't imagine just being displaced over, you know, like wildfires. I mean, because usually they're able to contain it within the woods. Now, I'm pretty sure there's been previous years where, certain neighborhoods might be affected by wildfire, but this was like unprecedented. And, last year, a lot of homes were burned in, Los Angeles. What's his name? Billy Crystal. He lost a family home. I don't know if he was able to rebuild or not by now, or just had to relocate. But still, like losing a home, that sucks. I mean, because it's not just a building, brick and mortar or whatever, would what have you. It's also memories, you know what I'm saying? Like whether it be like your memories of yourself first moving into that home, memories of holidays, especially your first Christmas there, you know, if you have a family, just the memories of like your children running around. And yeah, man, it sucks for real, man. And shout out to the folks, who are currently displaced by these fires, man. I hope you guys are, you know, hope the community can come together and help you all. I mean, I hope you all, hopefully there was some sort of like fire insurance that they had to get. I mean, especially being in a part of the country where wildfires happen all the time. But, you know, climate change is definitely affecting us. Um, and it's so crazy. You hear the projection from the deniers like, oh, well, they just they're just trying to pay the Ivy Leagues, all this money to overhype it. But meanwhile, there's always been the oil companies paying scientists to put out like fake papers about how climate change isn't real. And that's not cool. Shoot, over in the UK, like they got to do like a hose ban. Like, you can't water your yard. You can't use your water hose. Like it's getting so bad. Over in the Philippines, they're saying like the lakes and stuff would get so hot that the ducks can't, like ducks and stuff don't even want to swim. And unfortunately, because I heard some speculation about how 2027 is going to be a hot year, but I mean, every year is going to be a hot year, I think every year is going to break the record of the previous one. And I hate to say it, but we're kind of at the point of no return. And it is not helping that we have the different data centers coming up, AI slop everywhere. And, and I'm saying is there somebody who will occasionally use Chat GPT. I actually hadn't talked to Puppet Master in a while, so I'm proud of myself for that one. But as we discussed on a previous episode, hell, just going to Google, you're using AI. You know what I'm saying? Like different companies want to input AI into their business models, so we're just getting hit at all fronts here. And we still have the same fossil fuel companies fucking up the environment. Our president, which, like big oil and all of them, they were always lobbying our government to, you know, decrease regulation, you know, also, food companies, any sort of company, they all try to do it. But man, it's like the the administration we have now is just so blatantly corrupt. It's nuts. I mean, and I've been playing Russian roulette for the past couple of weeks with this salads, eating salads, because that's what I do. Like at least when I'm going to work, man, like Monday through Thursday, I try to have a salad for lunch. And then, Friday, I just do whatever. But, that's just my little way of trying to make sure I get some sort of leafy greens in my system. But yeah, it's like every salad I eat is like, oh no, what if I'm just, well, I'm just making the fucking diarrhea worse every time. I didn't get explosive diarrhea yet, so I have, for as far as my knowledge, I have not consumed the parasite just yet, but it could happen, and I am worried. Iran going on, like them withholding oil. Now, I'm not sure if we reached any deals or not, but I mean, let's face it, our president wasn't necessarily trying to uphold a deal in good faith. So yeah, we're in for it, man. Man, bear, pig is gonna get our ass. And finally, speaking of Man, bear, pig. I mean, ain't no speaking of man, bear, pig. Look, so eat that pussy 445, aka EDP 445. You know, we all know the lore. A couple years ago, he was caught in a sting by a couple of pred catchers. Trying to meet up with a minor. Turns out, obviously, he was just baited, and he got exposed for being a sicko. But the thing is, the guys who originally set up that sting, they fucked it up legally. They didn't follow the proper channels to actually get him arrested. Which is why I kind of side eye these like prey catching channels. I mean, yeah, it's good, it's entertaining, but unlike Chris Hansen, they don't actually go through the proper legal channels to make sure that the persons being caught actually do time. So, because of their fuck up, EDP did not get arrested. None of that evidence stuck. So he's walking around a free man. I mean, granted, he is a pariah. He's pretty much banned on almost all social media platforms. I mean, he might have a Rumble. He may have a Rumble account. I'm not sure. But yeah, so recently this man, I guess they now I don't know if the documentary was his idea or if some people decided to catch up with him and say, "Hey, you want to be in this documentary? Talk about you being a predator." And there's a scene going around that was being shared with him and Chris Hansen talking. The casualness of how he just talked about you know his potential crime, because Chris was definitely going through the messages with him and stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I said that, yeah, yeah." And it's just like, that's crazy. Like, I would be surprised, but our current, president is also, let's face it, the preponderance of evidence definitely points to him being a child molester as well, especially with him, going to Little St. James, being on the Lolita Express, being like this with Jeffrey Epstein. So, hey, so I guess EDP figured, fuck, man. I mean, we got a president who's just like me, so I might as well just get on this damn documentary and just be an open sicko about it. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, man, that's all I got for you today. Uh, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, man. It's hump day. We got over the hump, so it's all downhill from here. If y'all can, please, please, please support our big sister for the Raw Recovery, the community podcast. Very impactful, changing lives. I believe she had a British guest. And so yeah, so hey, she getting them international guests now. Also, this Friday, please catch up with our fellas for the What They Want podcast, Big John and I Am Slick 600. And shout out to our older brother Folkland Los doing his thing as a family man and as one of the dopest rappers out of the 412. And also keep being your thoughts, man. He's like I said, he just hasn't been feeling well. He'll come in sometimes, other weeks he'll have to miss it. But yo, man, let's have a good rest of the week. Despite the clown show that we're going through. Peace out, y'all. I know. Well, I gotta end the stream first. All right.